And then after that, I went to Seattle, which is the headquarters of Amazon in the US. So it's probably like 1,500, 600. I kept on that team until I got my job at Amazon. And I learned that at Amazon, the only reason I got the finance role is because you have to have a finance internship to be considered.
留学兄さんケイです。先ほどですね、ガーファンプランのお話をさせてもらったと思うんですけど、アイザックのこと面白いなと思って、彼のことを知ろうっていうインタビュー形式をやろうかなと思っております。英語でやってもいいよ。英語にする？
Yeah, let's do it in English. That'll be good for me. So I started out at BYU Hawaii.
How long did you spend in BYU Hawaii?
About 1 year at BYU Hawaii.
Why did you decide to transfer to BYU Provo?
Hawaii is really nice, but it was a little easy for me, I guess. I think the classes were not as challenging as I was hoping, and so I transferred to BYU Provo, where it was quite challenging. But BYU Provo is also where my whole family has actually gone to BYU Provo and graduated from there. Yeah, at BYU Provo, at BYU I studied economics, and I was a teaching assistant at the Economics 110 class, which is the introductory class for economics. That's actually where I met Kay, and I was a teaching assistant, and Kay was in my class, and he would come to my office hours, and I would teach him economics, and yeah, that's kind of where we met.
That's the only class I got C- or C+. I don't remember exactly, but that's the hardest.
It's not my fault though. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, this is like that economic 110 is kind of known as like hardest class.
Yeah, it's a difficult class, especially because it's introductory. So when you're a freshman and a sophomore and you're not used to college classes as well, it kind of hits you really hard in your first year or two at college. So yeah, it's a difficult one for sure.
Could you talk about the JSA stuff too?
Yeah, you came up to me. I'm gonna say we're sitting in the cafeteria. We were getting lunch one day, and Kate had mentioned that he wanted to start a Japanese student association. I immediately said, that sounds like a great idea. We finished our lunch and we went to the club office where people go to make clubs, and we started the Japanese student association.
That was very quick. Like we talk, and then let's just go to the office and.
I was like, yeah, why wouldn't we do that? You know, it's a great idea. So yeah, it was super fun. We started that out. I think we ran it for maybe 2 years.
Yeah, something like that.
And that's actually where I got connected to the Amazon recruiters, and that connection kind of got me my first job at Amazon as well. And yeah, we just had a lot of fun running the JSA, putting on events. We did like a Japanese matsuri 1 year, and we did a lot of career development events. I think that was really helpful for us as well as the students that were looking for jobs.
まあ Amazon のジョブオファーを僕がアイザックにあげたようなもんですけどね。
I mean, you helped a little bit. I contributed to it too, but yeah.
I'm just joking. After you graduated, you went to Amazon, but how was it?
It was great. I started out in America. I was a financial analyst. That was my first job at Amazon. And I started out in Kentucky in the United States. And then after about 8 months there, I transferred to Japan. I worked in Chiba for a little bit, and then I transferred to the headquarters in Tokyo. And there I was still doing the finance stuff. So I was helping out with planning the budgets and tracking costs and stuff for Japan. And then after that, I went to Seattle, which is the headquarters of Amazon in the US. And there I was what's called a program manager. I just helped with a lot of different, initiatives and projects. I work with people in Europe and in Japan and the United States and Canada. A lot of the global projects. And then last year I moved down to Arizona, where I am now. I kind of do the same things, running projects, building teams, but I do that in Arizona for the delivery part of Amazon's business.
Okay. Did BYU experience really help you to get the Amazon job? Or
yeah, I think the biggest experiences that helped me, there's like 3 things that come to mind. One is internships. I think I did like 6 internships when I was in college, and 3 of them were finance, which is how I got my finance job at Amazon. So internships is a big one. The Japanese Student Association that I started with Kay, that was also a really big one. I think when it comes to those kind of non-school, non-internship, it's really nice to show that you have initiative and that you can make something because you want to and not because you have to. So that was really big. And then the third one, I spent a lot of time, like I said, as a teaching assistant. So just my part-time job at college, teaching students science, economics. That was also a good experience for me to get into Amazon. Those are good stories.
ちょっと聞きたいのが How much did you start with Amazon with and how your salary?
So at Amazon, I started with around $70,000 a year was my base salary. That was base salary, and then you get stocks on top of that, which is kind of like a bonus.
スタートはでもだから800万ぐらいで How much was the bonus? The stock?
I got 50,000, I think.
めちゃめちゃやっぱ US は違いますね。
But the 50,000 is across 4 years. You get it's 50,000 and then it's across 4 years, so you get like 15,000 a year or something like that. But yeah, I think like total I was probably around like $90,000 a year in US dollars.
だから新卒で1000万以上ってことでしょ？
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when I moved to Japan as well, because when I moved to Japan, I kept that salary, so they just
you kept the salary too.
I think it was a little more than 1000 万.
すごいな。Still like your first year, right?
Yeah, it was within my first year.
So first year in Japan, you had more than 1000万 salary. That's really big.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a comfortable amount of money, I think, to have.
After you moved to Japan, how the salary goes along?
Well, you get like small raises every year. After a couple years, you get a promotion. So I got promoted and got a raise. I forget how much the raise was.
Let's do this. Like you started at like $100,000 or something, and then when you transfer to the US, when you transfer back to the US, how much was it in Japan?
When I transferred back to the US, I transferred into Seattle, the headquarters.
Right.
Then it was like 130,000.
And then
my base.
Okay, and the Japanese yen became really weak at that time.
Yeah. So it's probably like 1,500, 600. From there, I left Seattle and I went to Arizona where I am now, and I just kept the same salary. I just moved to Seattle, and then when I moved down to Arizona, the cost of living is much lower. So Seattle is very expensive to live in, and Arizona is kind of expensive, but not as much as Seattle. So I kept my same salary when I moved down to Arizona as well. So it's like a net benefit. I get more savings because I don't have to spend as much money.
All right.
Something that was really big actually when I was at BYU for me is, long story short, my classmate told me about an internship opportunity for a financial analyst position, but he told me it cost $6,000. But he told me that he had done it the year before and that it was totally worth it. I believed him. And so I did it. And it turns out the two people running it were, one person was ex-McKinsey and he was running this entire real estate company and was doing his own projects. And then the other person was a Goldman Sachs, and he had left Goldman Sachs to work for this McKinsey guy and work on his real estate project. But they wanted to do something very similar to the GAFOM plan, where they take students, they give them these experiences, and they teach them how to do these jobs. And then students go out and get really good jobs. Like these kids all went to the biggest like investment banks. And actually after my internship with this team, it helped me get another financial internship at one of the biggest investment banks in Utah. I kept on that team until I got my job at Amazon. And I learned that at Amazon, the only reason I got the finance role is because you have to have a finance internship to be considered. So all of these things, like meeting this classmate who introduced me to this program, and then taking the risk of joining the program, and then everything down the line, like that's one of the biggest benefits I think I had at BYU is these connections, right? People that are so super ambitious, are looking for those opportunities, will share those opportunities with you if you're willing to take action on them.
今のは BYU も良かったし、GAFA プランもすごくそれに近いですよっていういい経験ですね。
And that's why I'm so excited about the GAFA plan, because I did a very similar thing at BYU, and that really set me up for my job. Like it cost me $6,000, but like my salary has outweighed that tremendously. That's why I'm a firm believer in this kind of service, because I've experienced the benefits myself.
自己投資ってやつですね。セルフインベストメントの若ければ若いほどそこの効力がすごく発揮されるんですごくいいですよね。
Yeah, I wish I started before, because I did that in my junior year of college. If I did that in my freshman year, oh man, I would be so much further along, I think.
なるほどね。スカラシップ全部でどれぐらいもらったとか覚えてる？
学費分はもらってたと思う。3分の4ぐらいもらってたかもしれないね。
3分の4だと超えちゃうよ。4分の3でしょ？
ああ、そうだ。4分の3。
まあだから BYU はスカラシップのプログラムも非常に強いですってことの話ですね。Did you like Amazon or do you like Amazon right now too?
Yeah, I like Amazon. I think Amazon, for me, Amazon is similar to college, like BYU. Once you get in, you can kind of move around. You can change your major once you get in. You can change your job. You can find new teams. Places like in GAFAM, like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, they're so big. Like once you're in a level, then you can kind of find what you want to do after that as well. Because I think once you enter your job, then it doesn't really stop. You're always looking for, what do you like more? How can you make the best of what you're doing? And so, yeah, I think Amazon's great for that. I've been able to change from a financial analyst to a program manager very easily without changing my salary, without impacting my career growth. And so those opportunities are hard to come by, I think, if you're not in like a large company like Amazon.
I still remember that like when we were at BYU, you always kept telling me like, hey, I really want to start my career with like smaller companies. You exactly did the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, they pay good money.
Yeah, money-wise, it's good, but of course it depends on the person for sure. Like from your perspective, was it better for you to just start with Amazon first and then pivot your career?
I don't know if it's better. What's really great about being at Amazon is you're around really smart people. Like everybody that you work with everybody thinks that everybody's smarter than the teams that I worked on. Like my managers are like, they're always like Todai, Keio, Waseda. For Japanese people, it's like everybody's in the top schools. And then for like even non-Japanese people, they're like ex-Bain, ex-McKinsey, ex-consulting. It's just really strong people. And I think learning from them has been really fun.
Then what are the cons to work for those kind of big companies?
I think are pretty standard. Amazon tries not to do it, I think, but the bigger you get, the more slow it gets. Especially working with Kay recently, I've definitely felt that, a smaller team moves much quicker than going through at Amazon. You have to like get approval from your manager, and then your senior manager, and then your director, and then maybe go up to the VP. And then even before that, you have to get approval from legal and finance, and there's all these processes, and that kind of slows things down sometimes, which is a good experience as well. It really makes you think about the process and understand what's important.
If you can choose Amazon, Microsoft, or like all the GAFAM companies, you still want to like work for Amazon, or you want to go somewhere else?
I've been at Amazon for like 6.5 years now, and it's been great.
Maybe it's time to move on?
It might be. We'll see. It depends, what opportunities are out there. I was looking at, you can see how long you're at Amazon relative to other people at Amazon, and I'm hitting the 90th percentile. Out of 10 people, I'd be the oldest person. It's very competitive. It's very like, you have to work really hard, and people are very smart. So you got to keep up for sure, but it's a good learning experience. I think if you like working, if you like learning, if you want to learn, like that's the place to go. Like you'll learn so much every day. It's a lot to keep up with for sure.
Okay, I imagine like at BYU, it's been busy, right? You have to study a lot. You have to find a job, part-time job to just make a living. Mm-hmm. Is it pretty hard for students to get internship in general?
It depends. I think if you look for ways to get internships, you can find them. Like for example, like the example that I gave of, there's an internship program, but it costs like money to get in there. I think there's a bunch of those around. You have to find them and find the ones that actually work for you and make sense for you. The other internships that I've done, BYU has great internship classes where they bring in companies, right, and the companies provide projects for the students to work on, and those are kind of internship experiences. Like my first internship, I just really took whatever I could. So it was like an HR internship where we made some documents for their human resources department and for their onboarding process. But that helped me get experience working on a team. It was an unpaid internship as well. So just using those experiences to try to get, paid ones or like competitive ones afterwards. That's usually, you need to start somewhere. Right. And so find whatever you can, I think, to start off with is usually the way to go.
I think a lot of us, international students kind of got worried because they still have to be really good at English, compete with other students and stuff. You were kind of different because you were, native speaker and you didn't have any anxiety for the English, right?
Yeah.
Do you think BYU brand really helped you to put you to the place that you can be considered?
That's a good question. I don't know if the brand itself, putting it on a resume pay was a big deal for my situation, but because I was at BYU, I did have opportunities that I wouldn't have had other places. So for example, like because BYU was a school that Amazon was targeting for recruiting, I had the opportunity to meet with Amazon recruiters. Or because that McKinsey alumni studied at BYU, he came back to mentor BYU students.
Right.
So that kind of network, the resources available because I went to BYU definitely were huge in helping me with my career.
なるほどね。Like for example, like accounting field. I think a lot of accounting firms love BYU students because her program is really good. Like it's really known as the best program in the US, right?
That's why they'll like target BYU as a school that they want to pull people from. And then the same goes for some consulting firms too. Like large Bain is pretty strong with BYU. They have a good relationship. So the school's relationship with companies and the image or the brand of BYU to those companies, I think is pretty strong.
どうなの？やっぱり BYU でだからキャリア比較的他の人を比べるといいキャリアしてんじゃないかなって思うのか。
I graduated BYU, so a lot of I don't know that many other
university graduates,
non-BYU graduates that don't work at like Amazon. Even in Amazon and even in Japan, Amazon Japan, like I know a lot of BYU alumni that work at Amazon Japan too. Like I've met a bunch.
確かに BYU Hawaii からも行ってる子もいるし、ね、Amazon Japan で働いてる BYU 卒業の人も多いもんね。
Yeah.
こんな感じの経歴を持ってるアイザックがシェニカーファンプランですね、もう盛り上げてくれるので、よかったら参考にしてもらったらいいのと、裏話を言うと、アイザックはこういうのが初めてなんで、リテイクをめちゃめちゃしてますが。
Yeah, I don't know if you need to put that. Before I went to BYU, I taught English in Japan for like 6 months. And then at BYU, I taught freshmen and sophomores economics. And then at work now, I do a lot of the kind of new hire onboarding and training as well. So I'm just really passionate about teaching. I love, talking to people about new things and helping them progress in what they are looking to do. So just really excited to meet you all, find ways to help you achieve your goals.
ぜひアイザックに会いに来てください。この動画が役に立った、ためになったって方はぜひいいね、チャンネル登録、あと通知ボタンよろしくお願いします。あと SNS も僕の概要欄に貼ってますのでよかったらフォローしてください。コメントも気軽にしてください。じゃあ今回はこの辺でまたね。バイバイ。
バイバイ。
コスパ最強 BYU 留学のご紹介です。 BYU は大手企業への就職、格安な留学費用、英語初心者でも始められる留学です。ぜひ詳細は概要欄から確認ください。